What's going on, everybody? It is February 26th, and in this video, I want to do a quick trade recap on where I profited a little bit over $38,000, which is really good considering yesterday I lost $41,000 after having a 17-day win streak. But if you haven't checked out that video yet and you want to watch it first before you watch the loser before the winner. That's your choice. I'm going to go ahead and have that little card pop up at the top of the screen. You can click it, watch it, and come back to this video if you want. So you can watch me lose 41,000 and then watch me make a little over 38. But what I am happy about it is I talked about this in the prior video when I lost the $41,000 is I needed that mental reset, and in my opinion, it really helped me. And now, granted, I didn't fully make it up the loss, but it's easily recoverable, right? Recoverable. Lost 41,000, made a little over 38. I mean, it's just part of the business, and it's really fractal. Like it could have been easy if you have a smaller account. Basically, what I'm getting at, it could have just been a few $100s variables versus huge thousands of dollars. But that's besides the point. But let's go ahead and break down the trade that I did today, the how, the why, and how I managed it. Let's get started. All right. So here is this. I'm going to go ahead and erase this first. And you can see I have my trade executions on here. Get my pin. And I'm waiting for it to load. While I'm waiting on it to load, I'll go ahead and show y'all there it is. Let's bring you over here. That's Epic Pin if you're unaware, if you've been looking for a screenwriter. Okay, so over here, I have my funded accounts, and so PAs and my funded Tradeify accounts. Okay, so right here, roughly a little over $2,500 per account, which is pretty, in my opinion, solid because if you watch the prior video, I just do this. If you watch the prior video, I lost a little over $2,700 per account, and here I made a little over $2,500 per account, so it's a hundred and something dollars difference, right? So we're right back to break even after having that large loss. So feeling good about that. So I'm gonna keep going. All right, so what was the trade here? So I was focusing on the NQ. I'm going to go ahead and before I show here, let's go big picture. I like to look at the hourly to get a little bit of grounding first. Okay, so just like in my other one that the video I created yesterday, I talked about this part right here on the volume profile where it gets grayed out. That tells us that 68% of the volume is starting to dry up right here. So if there is no one down here to do business, for the most part, it wants to move back up. Start going towards point of control ideally, but it's going to like bump its head along the way as it runs up here and then here and whatnot and back. Okay, so that being said, this had me thinking, hey, we still might bounce from this area. And I also covered this some yesterday with the members of Simpler Central, is every time we come down to this zone on the NQ, we start to get a bunch of wicks, which also lines up a lot with where the volume is drying up right here, right? So this has me thinking maybe we're going to rally back up to point of control. So all that to be explained is I was looking at it bullishly. All right, next, what are all these lines on my chart? Well, first off, this pink one right here, this is my low, or not the low of day, but it was the low from yesterday's sell-off, anchored VWAP. So why is that line important? So that pink line is important because this is literally the balance of buyers and sellers from the sell-off that occurred yesterday. So this is from all of the buying and selling volume that has occurred. This is the average price. Now the blue line underneath right here, that is yesterday's New York session anchored VWAP. So I was using it as a level of support is how I was looking at it. Okay, so if I'm leaning bullishly because of, once again, the volume right here, the daily chart looks like it wants to potentially bounce. So I said that the daily chart looks like it wants to bounce. The volume profile suggests it may potentially bounce. And now I just needed a setup, an intraday setup in order to take the trade. And so what ended up happening here on the first trade, let's go ahead and zoom in here. So the first trade, you'll notice two executions. I'm scaling in and scaling out. So the first one, let me get a different color so you can see it better. Okay, so price at the open, right, this is the New York session anchor VWAP, that blue line. Price was bouncing off of yesterday's low and yesterday's New York session anchor VWAP level. So I'm looking at this as support. So as that is being support, I'm also watching for a sign of a reversal. So once price was consolidating and we kind of got a hammer candle right here, right? And I was like, okay, I watched it and we still bounced around here. So I got into position at 21.22 with a stop at the low. And I was, all right, if we start to break the high, I want to go ahead and add to the position with my stop right here and trail it with it. However, so there is a 20-point difference in the fill there because I ended up marketing in. And so yeah, long right here. And then I got filled all the way. Let's see, it was 42 up here because I wanted to make sure it was going to break, but then it did a quick pop. It popped quickly. So it just got me a bad fill, and it is what it is. And sometimes it happens on the NQ. And then price came up here and started stalling at the open sessions VWAP. So I was all right. To me, that was a good little trade there, and I just closed it as price was stalling. I was okay, that's not going. I'll just wait. After that, my next plan was as it started to sell off. I was like, okay, if we're going to come back down, I could have gotten long here again. I could have, I admit that. But I wanted to wait to make sure that we broke this open session VWAP. Why? Because it was resistance before, and if we do break it, and if the bullish thesis on the higher time frame is going to hold, then we should potentially go higher. So with that being the thought, is I was okay. I waited for price to come up to the open VWAP, and then I started to scale into position. Had my stop at the lows, and then from there. So if we just go ahead on this particular one, we can go ahead and what we'll call average it out to 260. Did have my stop at the swing low right here, and then I got out at basically 21,300. Oh, right there, right there. Cool. So close to about 1.5-ish risk reward, but I was trailing it pretty aggressively. So I'm going to get this out of the way now so we can talk about the trade. All right, now why did I want to close it right here? So really over here on the 15-minute chart, minimize this to where we could all see. Okay, so right here, we're rallying up into 15-minute resistance right here, right? All this little zone right here, I'm looking at this being a resistance. Why? Because, I mean, we're going to have to get over this. This zone right here is going to take some time to get above. So if this is going to be resistance, then I'm just looking for us to get out around there. So that was my target in a nutshell. So like, why was that my target? Well, because it's going to be resistance. So let's talk about the two trades. So hopefully that makes sense. So what I'm doing is I'm using the VWAP and NK VWAPs as a way for entries into position. I'm using bigger picture to get a market directional thesis through structure, and then I get out at potential support and resistance levels. So in this case, right, we're looking at it from here. These VWAPs right there, these VWAPs held as support, got long, added, stopped at the VWAP right here because this is the balance of buyers and sellers from the overnight session. Next, the plan was to wait for it to break here and look for a push to 21,300. So once it started to break there, got long at what do we call it, 260. Stopped right here at this little pivot low at the anchor VWAP and looked for that push up into resistance. Obviously, in hindsight, it could have held on for a much larger move. However, you know, that's good enough for me, and I don't have to worry about it for the rest of the day because the market has a lot of fixing to do. So that's the two trades there that happened this morning, relatively within the first hour of the day. So the yesterday's low of day anchored VWAP and yesterday's New York session VWAP was holding as support. Scaled in, got long, got out at the today's opening session VWAP. Price came back down. Look for price to reclaim the open session, today's open session VWAP. Got long on that trigger, stop on the last swing low near today's New York session here VWAP, and then targeted 21,300 because that's where about the 15-minute resistance level is. And it turned out to be a quick little day, right? So got rid of all the losses from yesterday for the most part. So feeling pretty good about it, and we'll just see what happens tomorrow. Take care, everybody. Oh, one other thing. If you would like to come trade with me and learn how I trade futures and how I like to use these prop firms as a way to leverage my capital and use my skills without having my own money tied up in an account, there is a link in the description box. I would like you to click on it, and I'll show you what it looks like. If you click on it, what it's going to do is it's going to sign you, bring you to, sorry, it's not going to sign you up. It's going to bring you to this web page. And when you come to this web page, what it does is it's going to tell you everything. Basically, for one, you could join this waitlist. And what is this waitlist? This waitlist is basically a wait list showing that people are interested in trading with me. So I'm trying to build my own trading room at Simpler Trading, and in order to build that room, there has to be at least some interest in doing it, right? So, I mean, it makes sense. They're not going to put money to work if no one's interested. I mean, it makes a lot of sense. However, if you want to come learn with me, this is your wait list to sign up to where you get all the details first, if and when it's going to start becoming available. Also, another thing, I want to kick this off right. So what I am pushing for is to do a 2 to 3 day live in-person boot camp, meaning we will be together somewhere. We'll all be in the same room. We'll all be talking. We'll all be trading together, literally in the same room, having a discussion over futures and how to trade them and strategies, and literally me teaching you in person how to do it. I think you get the best learning experience out of that, and everyone that would be there as well if this does happen, so once we're in our own little chat room, you'll see someone's username or whatever talking, and you'll know who you're talking to because you met that person at the live event, things like that. You'll build some camaraderie with other traders there as well. So if this is something you're interested in, something you would like to be part of, please sign up. And like I said, here's all the details again. Just click right here, join the waitlist, and then here's everything. It basically says so you'll get exclusive updates directly from me. I'll get them to our email team. They'll come to you. You get special discounts and savings and stuff like that. And then also, I'll be sending out in-depth trade reviews as well, so you can kind of stay engaged with how I am seeing things before they start. And also, you'll get the details on the live event if this happens. So, like I said, this is something I think would be great. There's a link description below. Click it, sign up if this is something you're interested in. There's no money up front right now. We're just trying to see, hey, how many people are interested. They're saying, hey, I'd like to do this. And then later on, we'll get going and we'll see how that all plays out. So like I said, one more time, if you would like to trade futures with me, sign up at the link. And also, this is for, we can see how many people are interested in going to a live in-person day trading boot camp. All right, good luck, everyone. Have a good time out there. Take care.